Why, hi there, I'm Ron Juckett, and welcome to Shea Stadium for yet another opening day game to start the 1985 season. Today we have a special treat for you. The St. Louis Cardinals and New York Mets start a 4-year rivalry that sees both teams win the East twice. The Cardinals won the division in 85 and 87. The Mets won the division in 86 and 88. Today, opening day, April 9th from Shea Stadium, we'll see the beginning of these rivals take shape. We'll have both the games. We'll have today's game for you, the Tuesday afternoon game, and the Thursday afternoon game for you in another video. Part of our Series of the Week series, where we will go through one series, not at random, but a good baseball series every weekend and bring you every pitch of all 3, 4, whatever, how many games there are. We'll have it for you. So we'll start with this. It's the beginning of a budding rivalry. This is Dwight Gooden's best year ever. My goodness, and 20 years old. He set the world on fire, winning 24 games as the Mets, who hadn't been in the playoffs since 1973, come within 3 of the Cardinals. Remember, it gets really intense in 87 after the Mets walked away with the National League East in 86, taking the Cardinals down to nearly the last week before Terry Pendleton homered and gave the Cardinals the division by 1 game. So St. Louis represented the National League in the World Series twice in this period. The Mets probably should have represented the National League twice. Remember, they ran in the buzzsaw of the Dodgers, Los Angeles Dodgers, in 1988. So that's the pregame show, or that's all the context for you. We'll get started with the game right now. And on a beautifully cold day in New York, 59 degrees. The winds are blowing out to left at 20 miles an hour as Dwight Gooden takes his warm-up tosses. Let's set the Mets defensively for you. It's George Foster in left, Mookie Wilson in center, Darryl Strawberry in right. Mookie has a good range, but not a very good arm. Foster, not a great defender. Strawberry, still pretty young at this part of his career, mind you, only his 3rd full season. Good arm, not great range. The defense, Howard Johnson at third, not a great defensive third baseman. Rafael Santana is at short, average shortstop. Wally Backman is at second, not a great glove. Remember 86, he and Tim Tuffle platooned. And Keith Hernandez, the Mets legend, is at first and always had a good glove. And behind the plate, making his New York Mets debut, is Gary Carter. Carter came over in December of 84 in a trade that involved Hubie Brooks and 3 others. I believe Herm Whittingham, Floyd Yeomans were some of the other names that would go over. And on the mound, of course, is Dwight Gooden. And before we talk about Gooden, here's the lineup he will face. Lonnie Smith, who will lead off and bat left. Tommy Herr will bat second and play second. Terry Pendleton is the third baseman. He'll bat third. Jack Clark cleans up and plays first. Darrell Porter will bat fifth and catch. Steve Braun, the right fielder, will bat sixth. Andy Van Slyke, the center fielder, will bat seventh. The Wizard, Ozzie Smith, bats eighth. And, of course, this being a National League game, Joaquin Andujar will pitch and bat ninth. John Tudor, by the way, won 20 games for the Cardinals. I assume we'll see him in the second game of the series. And that would have been a pitching matchup for the ages because Tudor was the best pitcher in baseball not named Dwight Gooden. Speaking of Dr. K, in 1985, 24-4 his record, a 1.53 ERA, 276 hits, 276 innings, 198 hits, 13 home runs, 69 walks, and 268 strikeouts. He's good for 130 pitches. Davey Johnson will use him extensively. And another subtle reminder that unless the Red Sox are playing, we will manage the home team. If you're also wondering, St. Louis had great speed, 300 and some odd stolen bases in 85, and Dwight Gooden did not do a good job holding runners on base. So Gary Carter will have his hands full. Lonnie Smith comes from the dugout and steps up to the plate. On the regular year, it was pretty short duty for Lonnie, 260. No homers and 7 RBIs. The Cardinals aren't going to hit a lot of home runs. So, lots of speed. I believe he was traded to Kansas City, but don't hold me to that. And we get underway with strike 3 on the outside corner. Gooden will do a lot of that on a 2-2 pitch, this time a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. That brings up Tommy Herr. And an example of where power doesn't necessarily mean you can't drive in runs. Herr hit 302 in 85, 8 homers, and drove in 110. 110, 38 doubles on the regular season. Grounded to third. Johnson throws to first. In time. He got out of the box a little bit late, and there's 2 out. If you're wondering where Vince Coleman is, he was not called up immediately, which is why Lonnie Smith got the call and left him believe. Maybe Smith got injured. We'll have to look. Terry Pendleton, the batter. 240 in 85, 5 homers, and 69 RBI. 2 outs here in the top of the first. He swings and grounds one to Gooden, throws to Hernandez, and that's the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 1/2 inning, there's no score. Joaquin Andujar, on his own right, had a great year in 85. 21 and 12, 269 innings, 265 hits, 15 homers, 82 walks, 112 strikeouts, with an earned run average of 3.40. And this is the lineup he will face. Wally Backman leads off and plays second. Mookie Wilson will bat second. Keith Hernandez will bat third. Gary Carter, the big person the Mets got via trade, cleans up. Darryl Strawberry bats fifth. George Foster bats sixth. Howard Johnson bats seventh. Rafael Santana bats eighth. And Dwight Gooden will bat ninth. Andujar is good for about 115 pitches, give or take. The defense for St. Louis. Lonnie Smith in left, good average arm, not great range. Andy Van Slyke in center, great arm, not average range. Steve Braun is in right, good, very good arm, average range. The infield, Terry Pendleton at third, a very good fielder. Ozzie Smith, we don't need to explain him. Tommy Herr, an average second baseman. And Jack Clark held his own at first. If you remember when he was with the San Francisco Giants, he played right mostly. Darrell Porter, a good catcher in his own right, average range, average arm, is behind the plate. Wally Backman hit 273, 1 homer, and 38 RBI for the Mets in 85. And he chops one to the Wizard, throws to first in time, 1 out. Mookie Wilson, 276, 6 homers, and 26 RBIs in 85. A good bunter. Cardinals are playing back and has good speed if he should reach. He grounds one foul. So it's an 0-2 count from Andujar to Mookie Wilson. Mookie singles up the middle. So the Mets had the first base runner in the game. And let's see what they do here. Let's see what the Cardinals do. Keith Hernandez, the batter. Hernandez, 309 and 85. 10 homers and 91 RBI. And there's a grounder to second. Herr to Smith for 1. Over to Clark. Double play. The Mets gambled they would try to pitch out or at least throw over. And they held Mookie Wilson at first. And Keith Hernandez grounds in double play. No runs, 1 hits, no errors. After 1, St. Louis nothing, New York nothing. It'll be Jack Clark, Darrell Porter, and Steve Braun to bat for the Cardinals. Gooden got the side in order in the first. Struck out 1. Clark really was their power hitter. And if you think of it in today's terms, he really was a macho one. But with this team, he led the team with 22 home runs. He hit 281 and drove in 87. And he looks at strike 3, a fastball right down the middle, 98 miles an hour. Oh, that's an interesting picture of Darrell Porter. Darrell did not have the goatee going with the Cardinals. He hit 221, 10 homers, and 36 RBI. He grounds one to Backman, throw to first in time, 2 out. Steve Braun did not play a lot with the Cardinals in 85. 239 and 67 at-bats, a homer and 6 RBIs. 2 out, and there's a base hit to left. Johnson dove but couldn't get there, and so the Cardinals have a runner on with 2 out. And Braun, unlike most of the team, has absolutely no speed. Andy Van Slyke, the batter. Andy hit .259 in 85, 13 homers and 55 RBIs. Gooden delivers just below the belt, strike 3. He watched it go by, so no runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 1.5, it's the Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. Here's Gary Carter. Carter, such a huge part of those great Expo teams in the early 80s, and of course would make such a huge influence on the Mets during their golden years here in the late 80s, mid to late 80s. He hit .281 in 85, 32 homers, and 100 RBI. Andujar delivers, and there's a fly ball to center. Van Slyke is there. Darryl Strawberry, .277 and only 393 at-bats, 29 homers, and 79 strikeouts. 79 RBI. The eye is always faster than the mouth. He struck out 96 times, including 1 right there. 1-2 pitches. Strike 3 called. An 87-mile changeup from Andujar, and that'll bring up George Foster. This was Foster's last primary year. He hit .263, hit 21 homers, and drove in 77. 2 out here in the second, no score. Foster swings and drives 1 to left center. Van Slyke is there, and that's the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. We've played 2. It's the Mets nothing, the Cardinals nothing. And there's the Wizard, Ozzie Smith. Hit .276, 6 home runs, and 54 RBI. Yes, of course, he is most known in 85 for the big home run he hit in the National Championship Series. From this side of the plate, from the left side. Gooden has thrown 28 pitches. In 2 innings, he struck out 3 and allowed a hit. Smith grounds 1 to Backman, throw to first in time. And that'll bring up Joaquin Andujar, who hit 106 and 94 at-bats, did not homer, and drove in 8. With 1 out, we'll be swinging. And he looks at strike 3. 89-mile-an-hour changeup on an 0-2 pitch, and that'll bring up Lonnie Smith. So Gooden strikes out 4 the first 9 he faced. Lonnie tries to drop 1 down, but it's foul, so the count is 0-2. He strikes out. He chased a pitch out of the strike zone, a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, so he'll go down for the second time. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2.5 in the books. It's St. Louis and New York, knotted at 0. Howard Johnson, the batter. Rafael Santana and Dwight Gooden to follow. Hojo hit .242 in 85, 11 homers and 46 RBI. He grounds 1 to Andujar, throws to first in time. Then I'll bring up Rafael Santana. Don't let that Cardinals hat fool you. Most of Rafael's playing days were with the Mets. In 85, he hit .257, 1 homer, and 29 RBI. And he is not a threat to bunt. He looks at strike 3, a 1-2 pitch to Uncle Charlie at 79. And that brings up the doctor. Gooden actually could hit. He hit .226 in 85, a homer, and 9 RBIs. There's no score here in the bottom of the third, 2 out. Between the Cardinals and the Mets, opening day at Chase City. Gooden swings. Grounds 1 to Clark. Flips to Andujar in time. So that's the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 3 complete. No score. It's warmed up a touch. The winds are blowing hard from right to left. It's going to be hard to get one out of shade today. Gooden will face Tommy Herr, Pendleton, and Clark here in the 4th. The doctor has pitched 41 pitches. Has thrown 41 pitches. And has struck out 5 in 3 innings. Herr looks at strike 3, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball on an 0-2 count. He is 0 for 2 now with the strikeout. Terry Pendleton is 0 for 1. And the pitch is a bunt. Gooden has it. No, he doesn't. It's Hernandez. No, it was Gooden. And they caught him off guard. And the throw to Backman was late. Finger part. Pendleton possesses good speed, but he doesn't really have stolen base speed, if that makes any sense. So the Cardinals reach on a bunt. And Jack Clark, who struck out his first time up, is up. He will not bunt. Grounded to Honderwood for one. Backman and Hernandez. A botched that call. 5-4-3. Hojo to Backman to Hernandez, and that's the inning. No runs, one hit, no errors. We've played 3.5, and there's still no score. The Cardinals play in at the corners for Wally Backman, who is a threat to bunt, but I will not oblige them. Swings and a ground ball base hit up the middle. That's why. And now I'll bring up Mookie Wilson, who was 1-for-1 with a single. Andujar, in 3+ innings, has allowed 2 hits and struck out 2, and is at 40 pitches. Pretty efficient baseball. Backman goes, and the throw goes into center field. Backman stops at third. Wilson at the plate on a 1-strike count. Got to take advantage. The Cardinals didn't do it. Didn't try to pick off Mookie. And so you got to take advantage and try to get runs across. Mookie singled. Not a good sacrifice risk. Cardinals playing back. The pitch. There's a ground ball base hit to left. And so Backman will score the first run of the year, and Wilson is on first for Keith Hernandez, who is 0-for-1. Wilson goes. Hernandez swings and fouls it behind the plate. So the count is 2-1. The hit and the run did not work. There goes Wilson. Here's the throw. Not in time. Wilson steals second. So the count now is 3-1 to Keith Hernandez. The Mets lead 1-0 here in the fourth. The pitch. Hernandez walks. Ball 4. And so runners on first and second for Carter, who was 0-for-1. Andujar was the team ace coming into the season and certainly put up ace numbers. Is a bit temperamental. So we'll see how this works. He's kind of lost control here. 2 hits, no walk. There's still nobody out here in the fourth. Carter lines one to Tommy Herr for the first out. 1 out for Strawberry, who struck out his first time up. He flies one deep to right. Braun turns, and it's foul. That's a strange way to foul. Well, I had to design the stadium, and so we'll have to fix that. So forget how that looked. It was a foul ball to right, and there's not much foul ground here at Shea. The count is 0-2 to Strawberry. The pitch. Here's another fly ball to right. Braun looks, and that's foul. So now we have a battle. Andujar has thrown 7 pitches to Strawberry in this at-bat. The 0-2. There's a single up to left. Wilson scores. Hernandez goes to third. Strawberry's on first, and it's 2-0 now. With George Foster, the infield will be playing for 2. Foster is 0-for-1. He flies one to left. Lonnie Smith goes in the corner. He's got it. The sign is for Hernandez to go home. The throw goes into the infield, and it's 3-0 on the sac fly by George Foster. Howard Johnson, the batter. Hojo is 0-for-1. The pitch. There's a fly ball to center. Back goes Van Slyke. He turns and watches it go. A home run for Howard Johnson. That'll score Strawberry, and the Mets have broken this one open. They lead 5-0 here in the fourth. Andujar slams his glove on the mound as Rafael Santana steps to the plate. Santana struck out his first time up. That was a moonshot. That's in the parking lot. That ball went 460 feet, according to our Studebaker Tale of the Tape. Don't forget to check out your local Studebaker dealer for the best of the 1985 Studebaker. Studebaker, a car for tomorrow. All right, here's Raffy. He's 0-for-1 with a strikeout. He grounds one to her. Throw to first in time. The Mets score 5 on 4 hits and an error. And after 4, it's the Mets 5, St. Louis nothing. Dwight Gooden got to sit for a while. He's thrown 47 pitches through 4. He has struck out 6 and allowed 2 hits. Darryl Porter, the batter, he's 0 for 1. And he singles through the hole between second and the bag and is on with a single. Not a threat to run. And Steve Braun, who singled his first time up, is not a threat to bunt. Round the ball to third. Johnson throws to second for 1. Around to Hernandez, and they go around the horn. 2 out. That's the second inning in a row. The Cardinals have put a runner on, and there was a double play. Pitcher's best friend. In fact, the first one was around the horn as well. Andy Van Slyke, the batter, he struck out his first time up. One of 6 victims for the doctor today. He flies out to Wilson in center. No runs, a hit, no errors. After 4.5, or halfway home, it's the Mets 5, the Cardinals nothing. Dwight Gooden steps up to the plate. He was 0 for 1. He grounded out his first time up. The totals at the moment, the Cardinals have no runs, 3 hits and an error. They've left 1 on. The Mets have 5 runs on 5 hits and no errors. All 5 Cardinal runs are earned. Met runs, are earned. Gooden chops one to Ozzie, throws to first in time, 1 out. Wally Backman, the batter, the Cardinals will not play for the bunt. He is 1 for 2. He has singled and scored in the 4th. And he grounds one to her, throw to first, in time, 2 out. Mookie Wilson, 2 for 2, 2 singles. Has an RBI and scored. That all happened in the 5th, or the 4th. He swings and misses on an 0-2 count for strike 3. So that's the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. We've played 5 in Flushing. New York 5, St. Louis nothing. Ozzie Smith, probably Andujar, and Lonnie Smith will bat here in the 6th. Gooden at 61 pitches through 5, 3 hits and 6 strikeouts. Ozzie grounds one to Gooden, throws to first in time. Andujar, if he stays in the game, is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He's at 78 pitches. He should be good for about 115. And we set that all up, and Whitey Herzog calls for the pinch hitter, which is not a big surprise. Mike Jorgensen will come in. Jorgensen, in limited duty, hit 196, no homers, and 11 RBI. Left-handed hitter. Gooden delivers a little bloop right to Keith Hernandez, 2 out. So they'll bring up Lonnie Smith, and he has struck out both times up today. Gooden threw 2 times to the lineup, 18 batters, 68 pitches. Smith grounds one to Backman, throw to Hernandez in time. So that threw me for a loop. Neil Allen will be the new pitcher. Allen, who came up with the Mets, which is why it threw me off, because this is obviously St. Louis and the Mets, was not all aces for the Cardinals. A 1-4 record with 2 saves in 85, a 5.59 ERA, 29 innings, 32 hits. He walked 17, struck out 10, and gave up 3 homers. And Keith Hernandez, in kind of an opposite day picture, because he's with the Cardinals in this picture, is 0 for 1 with a walk and scored in the 4th. He grounds one to Pendleton, throw to first in time. Bottom of the 6th, Mets 5, Cardinals nothing. Gary Carter 0 for 2. Carter drives this one to left. Back goes Lonnie. It's gone! It's a solo shot for Carter, and the Mets lead it 6-0. Nice debut for Carter in Met pinstripes. If you're wondering about how long Allen could pitch, he's good for 80 pitches. I can't imagine you want to burn up too much of your bullpen, especially now that you're down 6-0. I think Allen will be in it for a while. Here's Darryl Strawberry. He singled, was 1 for 2. drove in a run, and scored himself. And he takes ball 4. Not what Herzog wanted out of Neil Allen. George Foster, 0 for 1 with a sack RBI fly. Foster grounds a single to left. Strawberry holds. And the Mets are really in business now. Howard Johnson hit the big 2-run shot in the 4th. Is the batter. 1 for 2. Obviously scored on his own home run. He flies one to left, right center. That is off the wall. Strawberry scores. Foster will try it. Johnson will hold at second to throw at the plate. In time, they got him. A nice throw. Van Slyke cut it off. Through to Porter. And there's 2 out. Wasn't a great odds, 63%, but not, you gotta do it. 7-0 Mets down. Johnson has 3 RBIs on the day. Here's Rafael Santana. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Santana grounds one to Ozzie, throws to first in time. That's the inning. 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors. We've played 6. The Mets 7, the Cardinals nothing. It'll be her, Pendleton, and Clark here in the top of the 7th. Tommy is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Gooden has struck out 6 in 6 innings and allowed 3 hits. Pitch count is at 70. Continues to do this, it'll be a complete game. Here's a single to shallow left, and her is on. 4th hit of the day for St. Louis. Terry Pendleton, the batter, 1 for 2. Has one of those hits with a single. Gurr looks over. That reduces Hur's chances somewhat, but if they want to take it, I'm sure they'll let him have it. He goes. Hit and run, and there's a pop-up to center. Mookie's there. He's got it. And Hur goes back to first. Jack Clark now, the batter, the first baseman, is 0 for 2 with the strikeout. Throw to first, and Hur's back, but the odds of him taking the base if he wants it are pretty high. Pitch to Clark. There's a ground ball base hit. Hit and run was on. Hur goes to third, and the Cardinals have runners in the corners with 1 out for Porter, who was 1 for 2. Single for him. Mets will just concede anything that comes their way. A pitch. Fly ball to right. Strawberry's there. Makes the play. Hur will score. It was pretty deep. And the Cardinals are on the board to make it 7-1. A sac fly to right for Porter. And there's 2 out for Braun. It was 1 for 2 with a single. Clark on first. Braun swings and misses. Strike 3. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. Stretch time at Shea. It's New York 7, St. Louis 1. Neil Allen out for a second inning of work. Mets touched him for 3 hits in his first inning, including a solo shot by Gary Carter. Part of the 2 runs he gave up. Dwight Gooden will bat, obviously, at 87 pitches. He's still looking pretty good. He's 0 for 2 today. And he grounds one to Allen. Throw to first in time. Wally Backman, 1 for 3 with a single. And a run scored. He takes ball 4. Mookie Wilson, the batter. His single twice. 2 for 3. RBI. Struck out his other time up. And scored. And with a 6-run lead, the Mets are not going to push it. Here's a chopper to third. Pendleton for her to 1. Over to Clark in time. Double play. So the Cardinals go around the horn. No run, no hits, no errors. We've played 7 at Shea. It's New York 7, St. Louis 1. And that'll bring up Andy Van Slyke. Thumper is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Gooden now up to 5 hits in 7 innings. He's given up a run. Hasn't walked anybody and struck out 7. Van Slyke fouls it off, and the count goes to 0-2. Gooden gets a sign, and the 0-2. Oh, it's ball 4. That's why it's difficult to call the ball count. Vance worked at full and drew the walk. First walk for Gooden. Ozzie Smith, the batter. No one's bunting here. They're down 6. They will do the pickoff throw, and Van Slyke's chances are pretty much certain if he wants to go. The pitch grounded to short. Santana to Backman for 1 to Hernandez. That's 2. He does not send the runner, and Ozzie grounded out to a double play. So 2 out here in the 8th for Neil Allen, who won't bat. There's no way that they bat him here. Vaughn DeJesus will bat. The shortstop hit .222. No homers and 7 RBI. Nobody on. 2 out here in the top of the 8th. 7-1 New York. DeJesus pops 1. Hernandez goes over by the boxes and makes the play. No runs, no hits, no errors. 7.5 down. New York 7. St. Louis 1. And as Keith Hernandez goes to the box for this at bat, he's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. He will face Ricky Horton. Horton, part of the very good pen that the Cardinals had in '85. Went 3-2 with a save, 89 innings, 84 hits, walked 34, struck out 59, and had a neat and tidy ERA of 2.91. Hernandez swings and misses that 0-2 count, strike 3. That'll bring up Gary Carter. Gary with a solo shot in the 6th. Really was the straw that broke the camel's back. He pops 1 to foul. Here goes her. Makes the grab, 2 out. So it's a foul out to second. Darryl Strawberry, the batter. Darryl is 1 for 2. Singled, struck out, walked, scored twice, and drove in a run. And he swings and misses on a 2-2 count, strike 3. A perfect 8th for Horton and the Cardinals, but they trail 7-1 as we go to the 9th. And to start the 9th, likely Lonnie Smith, Tommy Herr, and Terry Pendleton against Gooden, who's at 98 pitches. Unless he gets into trouble early, this is his game. Tito Landrum will pinch hit. We're starting to figure out how the pinch hitting works around here. Landrum, in 161 at-bats, hit .280 in '85. 4 homers and 21 RBI. Gooden gets him to pop 1 up to second. Backman's there, 1 out. Tommy Herr, 1 for 3 with a strikeout. So that hit was a single, and he scored. And he grounds this one to first. Hernandez flips to Gooden, 2 out. So Terry Pendleton is the last chance for the Cardinals this afternoon. The Mets, even though it doesn't quite sound like it from this, are quite happy. Terry 1 for 3 with a single. We set all that up, and they're going to call for Willie McGee instead. McGee must not have hit Goodwill in '84. In the regular year, he won the batting championship. He hit .353. He hit 10 homers. He drove in '82. He hit 18 triples in '85. The pitch. Grounder to Santana, throws to first, and that's the ball game. The New York Mets defeat the St. Louis Cardinals 7-1. A happy recap right after this. And on opening day here in New York, we can tell you here are the totals. The Mets scored 5 in the 4th, highlighted by the big 2-run homer by Howard Johnson. They scored 2 in the 6th, highlighted by a solo shot by Gary Carter. And the Cardinals responded with 1 in the 7th. The Cardinals had 1 run, 5 hits, and an error. It was a throwing error on a stolen base attempt. The Mets 7 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The losing pitcher, Joaquin Andujar, in 5 innings, he allowed 5 hits, 5 earned runs, a home run. He walked 1 and struck out 3. Neil Allen and Ricky Horton relieved him. Allen gave up a homer and 2 earned runs. A perfect 8th for Ricky Horton, including striking out 2. Dwight Gooden, his final line, 9 innings, 5 hits, a run. It was earned. He walked 1 and struck out 7, threw 110 pitches, and faced 30 batters. He faced 3 over the minimum. That's pretty good. Mookie Wilson gets the game-winning RBI, and the Studebaker player of the game is Dwight Gooden. We obviously played in front of a solid of 55,000 plus here in New York. And the time of game was 2 hours and 40 minutes in front of, on a 59-degree day with the winds out to 20 miles an hour. Now, we won't tell you what happened in every game that we don't replay. The highlight from the other game besides the opener, Detroit 7-2 win over Cleveland, was that Joaquin Boyd threw a 3-hit shutout against the Yankees. In games played earlier today, the Chicago Cubs beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-2 behind Rick Sutcliffe, and the Chicago White Sox beat the Milwaukee Brewers in 15 innings. 1-0. How did they get their run? Well, let's find out. Tom Seaver, by the way, went 7 strong innings, Mets fans. Well, Scott Fletcher started at the top of the 15th with a double to left center. Ozzie Guillen grounded the pitcher, but was safe on an error, so it was first and third with nobody out. And it was a sac fly. Tim Hewlett, fly went to deep right, and that scored Fletcher. That was the only run of the game. Wow. All right, stay tuned. On our next video will be the other game of this 2-game set between the New York Mets and St. Louis Cardinals. Till then, I'm Ron Juckett. We'll talk to you the next time.